What's up, everyone? Back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another collaboration beer, this time between the North Park Beer Company, and they are out of San Diego, California, and the Russian River Brewing Company, and they're out of both Santa Rosa and Windsor, California, and this is their Elder Foo. So this is a double dry hopped West Coast Double IPA with Simcoe DynaBoost, Simcoe Cryo, Simcoe NZ106, Nectaron, Krush Cryo, Mosaic, Tangier, and Amarillo Abstrax Quantum Brite hops. It comes in at 8% alcohol by volume, 92 IBUs at the time of review. This can is approximately 2.5 weeks old. I'm going to give a huge thanks and shout out once again to a very good friend of mine and viewer of the channel, Sierra Hotel, for this beer. So big thanks to him. In the description box, I'll post a link to the beer mail unboxing video I did that contains all the goodies he sent my way, and he sent me 6 beers in total, and every single one of them is some sort of West Coast hop forward beer. And I'm starting with the most hype beer of the box, because this has been getting a lot of hype over the past 2 or 3 weeks since it's been released. I think it sold out at the brewery pretty dang quickly. I've seen some reviews, including a review from a very good friend of mine and fellow beer tuber, Joe, over at Joe's Arcade. He reviewed this by itself. Then I think he compared it to the double dry hop Pliny. And yeah, it just seems like a match made in heaven. Now, I don't think this is like Hop Foo, is basically like Hop Foo meets Pliny the Younger, but you know, they wanted to do a collaboration, so it's probably going to have some similar tasting notes of each beer, I would hope anyway. And yeah, I'm super stoked for this. We got the hashtag proper glassware. So cool of Sierra Hotel to hook it up. And if you saw the unboxing, you know, even though I had an idea he was sending it to me, I was still kind of like speechless. So anyway, we're going to crack this one open. 2.5 weeks old, getting West Coast freshies. Pretty awesome, honestly. It's pretty wild. We have, again, the hashtag proper glassware. We'll give it a pour, and I cracked it open and I could smell it, and it smells absolutely fantastic. Holy shit balls. Do something like that. A little bit of a cheat. I don't know if I should have done that. Oh my God. All right, so, you know, I'm going to rein in the hype. As you guys know, when you come to the Beer Patrol, you get an honest review. However, the fact that I love North Park beers, I'm starting to really dig you know, West Coast IPAs, especially the new school ones. It just makes sense to me that I'm going to enjoy this one. So that has, now, shout out to Bud and the aforementioned Joe. I don't know if it's going to show up on camera as well. I'm looking at it, doesn't really see it, but in person it has that like green hue that you sometimes get with some of the West Coast breweries, you know, West Coast IPAs. It just has this greenish kind of look. I'll bust out the, as I just drop shit off camera over here, but I'll get the light going here. I don't know if you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. Probably not. Try to get my stupid face out of the way. Pour it down. Nothing down there, nothing through there. I don't know, but it has good carbonation. But it has, again, that nice like straw golden, a little bit dark, maybe just in a straight golden color. But it has, again, this tinge of a like a very light green. Had about 1.5 fingers, maybe 2 fingers of a bright white soap sudsy looking head that's now dissipated to about 3/4 of a finger. Yeah, it plays the role. And again, in the hashtag proper glassware, because beer tastes better in proper glassware, as Joe always says, and he knows what he's talking about. I clearly don't. At least one Joe does. Anyway, knows. Yeah, dude. Oh my God. It's just, the hop saturation of this one is over the top, I think, in the nose. It almost has that like griefy, just making up words. That's why I come beer. I wanted to say green leafy, but I said griefy. It has a griefiness to it. It has that green, like kind of leafy, vegetal, you know, hop matter kind of nose. It's just like so saturated. Holy shit. But there's a lot of things going on. Over the top citrus. It has a pithy, but also like a juicy kind of aroma to it. So it's like the orange pith, a ruby red grapefruit pith. But again, you're still getting the juice of those 2 citrus fruits. I'm getting peach, like a lot of peach, like an overripened, sweeter kind of peach. Honeydew melon rind. That I was trying to pinpoint, because I was like, for a second there, I thought it had like a tea note, and I was like, oh, that's not good, you know? No, it has the rind of like a honeydew melon, or even a watermelon. As you get closer to the rind, like the white part, kind of has that kind of aroma. Yeah, for sure. A little bit of like a candied berry, or like a candied citrus fruit. Candied fruit in general. Joe's talked about it before on his channel with some viewers of his channel, and some other people have talked about. For me, a new school West Coast IPA, the difference to an old school West Coast IPA is, again, the hop bill is a little bit less, so you're not getting that caramel. You're letting the hops shine, so you don't get like a big bready and caramel. It's just kind of propping the hops up. It's more crisp, clean, but it's still dry and bitter. It should have a firm bitterness, should have a firm dryness, but it's the candied or like sweeter stone and tropical fruit that are more apparent in these new school West Coast IPAs, where with old school ones, you get a lot of citrus with maybe a little bit like pineapple and nondescript, tropical and stone fruits. This is more like you took the fruit character of, at least in my opinion, of like a New England IPA and kind of put it into a West Coast. There's a nice, piney kind of floral aspect to this one. Not super like resinous, but it's very floral. Dude, it smells fucking awesome. This is, I had the IPA for Aliens from Masthead recently. I had the Wicked Willies from Fatheads, and those are fantastic. Newer school West Coast IPAs. This, aroma-wise, is a little bit above that. Like, it just has that more bombastic and over-the-top, just kind of like oomph to it. I want to get into it. Cheers, everybody, and thanks again to Sierra Hotel. Delicious. It's delicious. After that first sip, though, I'll be honest with you. I'm not blown away to the degree that I may have thought I was going to be blown away. Maybe because hop food's fantastic. I've had Pliny the Elder many times before. But I feel like this is going to be hard to live up to the hype. Like a beer like this, I forget what Joe said when he reviewed it. It's like a 4.6 out on tap. I think when I'm reviewing, it's like maybe mid 4.5s. That's wild to see for a clear beer, especially a West Coast IPA or double IPA in this sense. But it's cool to see people actually care about a beer like this. Not that Untapped really matters at all. So body on this, medium touch over, really nice. The mouthfeel, it has that crisp, clean kind of nature to it. Very effervescent on the palate, smooth on the second half, awesome. The taste, it follows the nose quite a bit, but it's a bit different. So the one thing I will say is that this is almost giving me that slight numbing effect. Joe's mentioned before, I've mentioned a couple times on my channel where like there's so many hops that like the sides of my tongue are kind of getting like numb a little bit because of the hop character is like over the top. So I'm trying to fight through that to get the flavors. Forefront though, I do get a little bit of like a white bread or some kind of just like grainy malt character. Very slight though, dives underneath the palate, never to be heard from again, but it's still noticeable slightly even on the finish. It has like a little bit of a slight kind of like bready malt thing going on. Front of the palate though, and I rarely say this, but I do get like a pithy citrus quality. It is more in the lines of like a orange, ruby red grapefruit, maybe even a Tangelo, but it has like a pithy, rindy kind of feeling to it. It definitely has this like moderate bitterness. Not all that juicy. Passes through though, that over-ripened peach. It's like a sweet peach juice on the palate. There's a little bit of like passion fruit. That honeydew melon is a little bit more of like the actual flesh of a honeydew and less of the rind. But you could probably pick out a bunch of different tropical or stone fruits. For me, it's peach, it's passion fruit, and it's some of that honeydew melon. Maybe a little bit of like a candied, like nondescript candied berry, like just like, like a generic red berry. It finishes like bone dry. It's bone dry, moderate bitterness, and that floral, piney, kind of slightly resinous feeling on the back of the palate. With each sip, the bitterness is building a little bit. Maybe started just under moderate, now it's just over moderate. By the time I get down this glass, it might be like, firmly bitter, like full-on bitter, but not like over the top. The dryness, I really like. The bitterness, I do too. I think this one definitely has more of like an old school IPA soul to it, West Coast style that is, because it definitely has that dry, bitter sensation, and it's not over the top with the tropical and stone fruits. It's not super candied, although it's a bit candied. 8%, I can't even tell. There's like no warming in my chest, so it hides it extremely well. What can I say? It's delicious. Now, I do think I like it a little bit more than hop food, but I've only had hop food twice, and that was back like a year and a half ago, and that's really when I started maybe respecting for my own palate, West Coast IPAs a bit more, and like understanding my palate is starting to shift towards that kind of style as opposed to like hazies. And over the past 6 months, I have firmly become a West Coast IPA fan, I would say. The new school ones are fantastic. Some of the old school ones just hit differently, much different than they did in the past. This has that old school vibe with a new school kind of take on it. I love that it's dry and bitter, but it still has a lot of fruity qualities to it. That floral pine on the finish. There's definitely like a dankness too. As I sit here, like it's kind of like a slight lingering dankness. I would say I like this better than Hop Fu of what I've had from Hop Fu. I don't know if I like this as much as just regular Pliny the Elder. Never had double dry hop. I've had Pliny for President. This is probably in line with Pliny for President in terms of what I enjoy. Regardless, this is fucking really good. Where do I land with this one? Usually give Pliny like a 4.7, 4.75. I think I gave Hop Fu like a high 4.25, low 4.5, so like 4.4. This is somewhere in between. I think I gave Pliny for President like a 4.6, 4.65. I'm going to give it kind of in that realm. So Elder Fu, collaboration between North Park and Russian River. Yeah, we're going to go low 4.75, I'll go 4.65. I think that is an absolutely fair score for this one. Love the hop work, the artwork. Of the hop, they always do different like takes on it. This will be going behind me on the can or on the pretentious wall of bottles and cans, without question. This is fantastic. Did it live up to the hype? Yeah, it did. But maybe I was thinking I was going to get a little bit more out of this. But it's still, like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's not delicious because it fucking is. Price point availability, Sierra Hotel, I asked him. He said $24 a 4-pack. $6 a can. It's a hype beer. They sold out, like, pretty quickly, so it's not like, oh, I would never pay that. A lot of people paid it. A lot of people paid it really quickly. So $6 a can, yeah, whatever. I can't thank Sierra Hotel enough for sending a can of this my way, so it's just absolutely fantastic and very privileged from that aspect, but I wouldn't, if this was released, I would easily pay $24 a 4-pack to try it, no doubt. Availability, like I said, it sold out pretty quickly. I don't know if it made it to all locations of North Park. I don't know if Russian River got in. I don't know if any local bottle shops. If anybody can speak to that, please post in the comment section. I'm not going to sit here and like pretend like I know. I just know that from what Joe said and what Sierra Hotel said, this sold out really quickly, and it was $24 a 4-pack. Outside of that, no idea. So if you've had this collaboration before, please post in the comment section. What did you think about it? Do you like it more than Hop Fu? Do you like it more than Pliny the Elder? Do you think both of those beers are better than this one? I would say, like, again, it's better than Hop Fu for me. Not as good as Pliny the Elder, but I guess you catch me on a different day. Maybe I get a super awesome fresh batch of Hop Fu and it's better than this. Maybe I get an off batch or not a great batch of Pliny and this is better than that. I don't know. But what I'm saying right now from my memory, this is kind of in the realm of that Pliny for President. I think it's really good. And I just, the 8%, the fact that it hides the alcohol that well is absolutely awesome. And yeah, I'm not having any issues whatsoever finishing the rest of this. So again, delicious beer. Thanks to Sierra Hotel. Appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. Got 5 more West Coast hop forward beers from Sierra Hotel, and I can't wait to get into the rest of them. There are 3 triples in there, and that's going to be like a sit down and take your time. This I'll probably drink in about 15 minutes off camera. Till then, cheers.